Let's talk about Boris Johnson. The British Prime Minister functions rather interestingly. Think about it. A day before Prince Philip's funeral, Johnson's staff threw a party. Now, just yesterday, the British monarch, Queen Elizabeth, tested positive. And today, Johnson is revoking all Wuhan virus restrictions. And by all, I mean all. No isolation if you come in contact with a COVID-positive patient. No isolation if you have tested positive. No community testing for people with symptoms. And a slimming down of the surveillance program. Basically, Boris Johnson is throwing caution to the wind, pretending the pandemic is over. Johnson has come up with a rather fancy name for this ignorance. It's called the Living with COVID plan. Will people be living safely under this plan? Food for thought. First of all, it's not safe. The pandemic is not over. Let me repeat that. It's not over. The Wuhan virus is highly infectious. It can spread through a single cough or sneeze. Even a child knows this today. But Boris Johnson is encouraging patients to go out, to go to work, to go shopping, even use public transport. For what joy? Johnson says this is restoration of freedom, restoration of normality, a quote-unquote moment of pride. 10 Downing Street needs to review these definitions: freedom, normality, or for that matter, even pride. Leaders of the United Kingdom are petrified. Scotland's First Minister, Nicola Sturgeon, has warned against lifting isolation, as have Wales's First Minister, Mark Drakeford, and North Ireland's Health Minister, Robin Swan. Lawmakers are struggling to understand Boris Johnson's logic. Does the lifting of restrictions have something to do with a Partygate? You see, the Prime Minister was caught breaking rules himself, partying through the pandemic. And this could cost him his job. There have been calls for resignation for weeks now. Is he lifting restrictions to please his voters? We ask this because he's done that before. Tried to neutralize bad press with populist moves. Right after the Partygate blew up, Johnson announced a long list of populist measures. He handed over control of illegal channel crossings to the military. He also announced new plans to address the NHS backlog. He removed pandemic restrictions. He scrapped pandemic passports. He ended mask requirements. These were part of Operation Red Meat, basically Johnson's steak dinner to his voters, aimed at making up for the pandemic parties. Living with COVID could be very much a follow-up of this appeasement policy. This time, Boris Johnson is allowing COVID patients to go out and party, just like he did through the pandemic. There's another possibility. Maybe Johnson genuinely thinks the pandemic is over. You see, he's not a fan of science. For the longest time, he downplayed the Wuhan virus. He joked about shaking hands with patients in the hospital. He also repeatedly refused to close schools or impose a lockdown for that matter. His logic? Johnson argued that the United Kingdom is a land of liberty. Today, he claims, the UK has reached the state where it can shift the balance away from state mandates. In other words, lift restrictions. What Johnson is calling a moment of pride could be a moment of danger, a turning point in all the progress we've made so far in the pandemic. Allowing the virus to spread means allowing the virus to mutate, and that is a threat, not just to those living in the UK, but also to those living outside it. Not too long ago, the UK suffered at the hands of a highly transmissible variant. The UK has the highest COVID death toll in all of Europe. Scientists in England say the next COVID strain could kill many more. What the world needs to do right now is tread with caution. And we're not asking the UK to shut down all over again or keep people away from work and recreation. But what you must do is respect science and not politicize COVID isolation. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.